This is Paper Mario's Pre-Prologue. There isn't much to say about this. Mario and Luigi get invited to Princess Peach's castle, Bowser shows up, Mario gets his butt kicked. And then the prologue starts. But what if there was a way to skip this pre-prologue section? You can't. As of right now, there is currently no way to trigger a pre-prologue state. At least not without some sort of modding. This is Paper Mario 64's practice ROM, created by JCOG. This particular ROM allows us to warp to places we normally wouldn't be able to at certain periods in the story progression. After carefully creating our file, we're going to force the game to warp us to Toad Town while we're in this pre-prologue state. Normally, you were never intended to control Mario during this section of gameplay, so there's a lot that's different here versus the prologue section. For starters, we aren't able to pause the game or pull up any menus, items, partner, or otherwise. All of the buildings in town are empty too, as there's no need for them to be there since you were never intended to see this section. Shops are still accessible and you can still purchase items. However, the dialogue is directed to a toad nearby. With some camera manipulation, we can see that it's this red toad that's right outside of the shop. Interestingly enough, the same thing is applied to Rolf's Badge Shop, with dialogue being directed towards a toad outside instead. If I had to guess why this happens, it's because Rolf's character isn't loaded in, and therefore the dialogue has to go to someone. My guess would be that this toad is the origin point, or the first NPC in the area. Moving on, we can see that the post office and the inn are both unoccupied. Merlin's hut still uses the prologue dialogue before you have the lucky star. And glitching our way into the dojo reveals that there's nobody here. I guess they aren't lying when they say the master's out traveling. The Toad Town Bulletin still uses the prologue dialogue as expected. Something interesting of note is that the Koopa brothers, disguised as toads, still have their collision here. And of course, through LZS or, just plain old cheating, we can get on the other side of them, and we can trigger Chapter 1. Interestingly enough, this does not put us in a Chapter 1 state, as we can still hear the pre-prologue music playing here. South Toad Town is potentially accessible via either, again, LZS or just log skipping, or in our case, since this is just for demonstrative purposes, just cheating. Something interesting to note that down here the music is normal, everyone is able to be talked to, and it acts like a post chapter 1 state. This could potentially lead you to getting well early and skipping majority of the first half of the game. Moving along to right outside Peach's castle, we can see that we can actually walk around here and there's some collision, but for the most part, we're just restricted to this main area. Now there is a loading zone off to the side, but it is disabled because there's no point in it being enabled, thus preventing us from getting to Shooting Star Summit for now. You can enter the doors, which play in the incorrect sound, but this triggers the ending cutscene of the game. Unfortunately, the game can't handle this, and as soon as Peach tries to come out, we crash. Instead, let's go see Luigi, our dear brother who never gets to join us until the third Paper Mario game. We can access the Mario Brothers house through this pipe here. However, we're going to visit Luigi without any partners. Let's see how well this goes. You'll notice there's no music playing because there's normally no music playing during the pre-prologue section when Luigi receives the letter. However, here's Mario. Crash. Anytime partner dialogue is attempted to be loaded into memory, the game crashes if Mario doesn't have an active party member. However, let's visit him with Bo this time. Again, no music plays because there's no music during the pre-prologue section, but we show up nonetheless. This time, however, no crash, and the game pulls Luigi's dialogue to Bo for some reason. And she also has incorrect animations. There's not much to mention about the Mario Brothers house in this pre-prologue state, other than that the diary has very generic text, and it can only be read once. However, triggering this Luigi cutscene does not put us in a prologue state, we are still pre-prologue. So what if we just head to, like, Goomba Village? Well, entering the room where the Goomba King is at for the first time triggers this cutscene, and we actually warp to the other side of the castle. However, at this point we're supposed to have Goombario, which results, unfortunately, in a crash upon trying to load up partner dialogue. However, if we instead enter with a partner, then we won't crash, and we are allowed to fight the Goomba King. Upon defeating the Goomba King, we are set to a prologue state, allowing us to progress like normal. As of right now, there's currently no way to trigger a pre-prologue state. However, we can always try and develop different strategies to achieve this, because this would allow us to complete the game without even playing it, if we can bypass certain glitches and crashes. There's still a lot of discoveries that still need to be made about pre-prologue Paper Mario. However, hopefully I was able to highlight some of the interesting things that happened here, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is my first video, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.